It is the start of Portland Book Week, which is so exciting. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. You get a bingo card and there's all of these different squares, and the goal is to try and get a blackout, but also just to visit indie bookstores in the Portland area that you haven't visited from before. I think there's like 80 bookstores participating, which is just crazy. There's so many around here and I'm so excited about it. I'm excited to buy books. I have a friend date on the second weekend that Portland Book Week is happening, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for it. I have a list of books that I want to buy. Hopefully I can kind of stick to that. I don't really want to buy more than one book per bookstore, but I have no self-control, so we'll see. Things that I would really like to get while I am out. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. That's a new one that I've been holding off on for this purpose specifically. I would like the next book in the Bethany Jacobs trilogy because the third one comes out this year, and I would like to get to the second one before that happens. I think it's on Vicious Worlds. It's purple. And then I would also really like to find Shy Girl by Mia Ballard. I think it might be self-published, so that might be a little bit harder. The horror bookstore in Portland though does have self-published stuff, so maybe it will be there. I would really like The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke because I want to read the first 2 books this year before the last book comes out and just see if I even like it. And those are the things that are like top priority I would really like to get, and then I'll just see whatever speaks to me. Oh, and Wrath by John Gwynne because I'm almost done with the Faithful and Fallen series. I just need the last one. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. We'll see if that happens. And then there's a lot of other fun things that are happening during book week. Like there's lots of bingos and like silent readings and book swaps. There is a tattoo event that's for Books Through Bars, and that's like getting books into prisoners' hands that is Portland based, which is really cool. There is a bookbinding class that I think that I might do. Just a lot of fun things going on, and I'm very excited. So let's go do that. So all of the footage that I got where I was like genuinely vlogging is like, it doesn't really make sense, so I'm just gonna narrate all of my b-roll clips for you. Sorry. I started at Powell's Books, which this is the one in the suburbs, this is the one in Cedar Mills, and I like it better than like the original because the parking is easier. And then I got some like really good b-roll footage here of me walking back and forth. I did end up getting Wrath at this one. I don't think that I showed you at like my haul part of this video, but what I really wanted was this special edition of the Jasad Air by Sarah Hashem. If you haven't read this duology yet, I guess the second one's not out yet, but it's so good. It's like what Enemies Lovers needs to be. And then we're at Bold Coffee and Books, which is more of a coffee shop than it is a bookstore. I did end up getting a coffee instead of a book here just because I didn't need anything, but it was really cute. And now we're at the OG Powell's, which their selection obviously is great. And then I think I go through and show you some things that I personally recommend. This, I think, is what I thought I was going to get here, which is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, and then The Blood Trials is so good, so underrated. A Memory Called Empire by Arcady Martin, and These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs are both sci-fis that I really enjoy. And now we're at Bishop and Wild. I don't show you anything inside, but they had a really great sidewalk sale. It was so hot, or I would have spent probably like an hour looking through these bins, but I was dripping sweat and I was only out there for like 10 minutes because it was in the direct sun. But it is a really cute store. And now we're making our way over to St. John's. The St. John's Bridge is so cute to me. And we're starting at Two Rivers and Weird Sisters, which is a yarn/bookstore. I've taken knitting classes there and they're genuinely so nice, and they will order in any book for you that you want. This is their like sci-fi section and it's pretty small, but they also have a lot of yarn. This is like their sock yarn and their like band books, which I thought was really cute. I have not been brave enough to knit a sock yet though. And then this is Revolutions. It's books and vinyl, so they have a lot of different like forms of music, but they also have these carts outside that are $5 or less, and I found some gems out there. And then they have like a lot of like political science and socially conscious things, and just like a lot of fun things to look through. I think that their collection is just great, and I always spend a long time looking through the music, even though I'm not like, I don't have a record player or anything. So, and then we were at Rose City Books, which is the Friends of the Library bookstore, but it's like a big bookstore. And then this is halfway through Portland Book Week, and I got to like make my own book. It's like a little journal. It's really cute. I'll show it to you later in this video, like all the way done. But it was just a really cute experience. The class was at Melville Books, and it was like outside in this really cute like courtyard area. It was so magical. And then our teacher was just like kind of talking to us about the bookbinding process. And now we're starting the last day with Emma. I had so much fun with Emma, but because I had so much fun with Emma, I have very few clips of it. So let's get into that. We started at Vintage Books. They have cats there. It's a very cute store in Vancouver. We also went to Parallel Worlds, which is like a sci-fi and horror bookstore. And then we also stopped at Vivienne. She was making raspberry jam. It smelled so good in there. It's a cookbook store, but they also have like KitchenAid attachments and cooking things. It's a really cute store that I probably wouldn't have stopped in otherwise. And then I also stopped at Broadway Books and Postcard Bookshop, which is just really cool all by myself. Postcard is like a traveling bookstore. Okay, Portland Book Week is officially over, so I thought we could talk about the haul. It's kind of a lot of books and a couple other things that are not books. The thing that you already saw was the little like journal that I made. I'm very excited to use this. I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I feel like it would be a good size for like a Polaroid or something and some notes. I'm very proud of this. I also thought about going to get a bookish tattoo that a tattoo place was putting on for Books Through Bars, which is like getting books into prisoners' hands, which is just really cool. But I think they like sold out, or like the line got too long, or like they filled up all the slots. So I'm not too sad about missing that one. There was some really cute flash though. I hope that they do it again. One of the stores was a manga shop, which is just not really my thing. So I did end up just getting some stationery, including an orange pen. I'm such a sucker for like orange ink pens. I don't know why. I also got this card for my friend's birthday that's not until March, but she is like such a pun girl that I just needed this. I needed this so bad. This isn't a reading book, but I did get a cookbook from that cookbook bookstore that you saw earlier, and I'm really excited about it. We haven't tried it out or anything yet, but they even have like, why not a bookmark for my cookbook? And we had gotten a cookbook at a really cute store earlier in the year, and I only tried one recipe from it, but it was absolutely atrocious, and I don't want to try anymore because like food is expensive. So this one came recommended, so I'm really excited about that. In particular, there's some like unusual breakfast things that I haven't tried to make before. Very excited for this. I went to, I think for my bingo board, 2 Powell's, and I didn't necessarily feel bad about not buying anything from them. I did try and buy a book in all of the indie bookstores that I went to, but like Powell's is just one step below Barnes & Noble. It feels like they are at least a Portland landmark and something pretty much everybody stops at, so I'm not too worried about like just going in and getting a stamp and walking out. But I did get the next book in the Wayfarer series because it was on sale, and that's A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. I'll get to this at some point this year. I'm excited about it. And then at Melville Books, which is mostly like a literary fiction type of bookstore, not totally my bag, but I do love digging through everything. They also have really good used book prices, and like their whole general vibe is super duper cute. It's also where I got to make the journal. That's where that class was being held. But I did get A Little Devil in America by Hanif Abdurraqib because I've heard such good things about this one. And then the one with like the wolf head on it, I can't remember what it's called. And also Emma, it came highly recommended by her, and I trust Emma. I trust Emma's book taste, so I'm super excited about this one. We stopped at Always Here, which is a trans owned and operated bookstore. They have primarily queer books and like a lot of fun trinkets and things that I just love looking through everything. And they ended up giving 2 horror novellas that I have been wanting to read for a while. I got The Scorch Between Stars by Ness Brown. I know that this is one of my friends, like it was a favorite book of last year. And then I got also This World Is Not Yours by Kemi Ashingiwa. This is so pretty, or like not pretty, I guess, creepy. Like that face scares me, and I think they're both just like sci-fi horrors, and I've really been into sci-fi horror lately, so I think this should be good. And then I stopped at Wallace Books, which is just like this total maze of a bookstore. I love stopping in there, and there's just something about Wallace Books that I adore. It's not super close to me, so I don't get there as often as I would like to, but I do like that store. I ended up getting a used copy of All My Rage by Saba Tahir. I've heard really good things about this. This is, I think, their only like nonfiction type of book. I'm excited to check this out. And then I got The Obscene Bird of Night by Jose Donoso, the unabridged version apparently. I know nothing about this. I have never heard of this, and I was really excited to just like see a horror book that I had heard nothing about, had no opinions on, and I'm hoping to keep it that way. It's a translated book, and I think it was originally published in 1970. I'm not sure. This should be really, really interesting though. The cover is what really drew me into it. Obviously, it's stunning. I was also supposed to stick to like 1 book per bookstore type of situation. That didn't happen at all. Not at all. I definitely acquired more than 25 books, but like a lot of them I got a good deal on. And support local business is mostly my excuse for it. I obviously had to stop at Midsummer, which is the horror bookstore, horror multimedia store in Portland. So they have like movies and VHS, CDs, DVDs. They may be doing video games soon. I'm not totally sure, but they also have books. So I ended up grabbing Shy Girl by Mia Ballard. This cover is so beautiful. I've heard such good things about it. I heard it's totally unhinged, totally wild. I'm super excited for it. I think Mia Ballard is going to be an author for me. I keep like acquiring their books and not reading them. So I need to do the reading part instead of the acquiring part. Hopefully that happens soon. I think I'm actually supposed to buddy read this with somebody in July anyway, so it's actually fine. And then there is also a fantasy and sci-fi bookstore in Portland, and it's called Parallel Worlds. It's also really cool. They have a lot of good used books, and I bought a couple of like rare special edition books from them before. I'm also obsessed with that store. I got 2 books there. One of the squares on the bingo board was buy a book for a friend. So I bought Emma a book there. I bought her These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs. I need more people to read it. I feel like it's so underhyped. And then she got me Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. Akwaeke Emezi has been an author on my list forever. I have not gotten to any of their stuff yet, but this is like their favorite book, Emma's favorite book. Very excited for this. I want to take care reading this since she picked it out for me, and I think that's just like so fun and special. And then I also got The Unbroken by C.L. Clark. This is on kind of that like fantasy sapphic trifecta, I think. It's just a trilogy that I haven't gotten to yet and has like higher on my list than I would like it to be for having not read it for so long. And the third book does come out later this year. Through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Terrain and Lugo will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. That just, it sounds so good, and I think it could totally be for me. And then there is a romance bookstore that is closing in Vancouver, which is really tough, but I think they're moving to like a mobile truck situation so that they don't have to pay rent. I hope that worked out for them, but I did grab 2 books. One of them was like a free ARC, so that's kind of cool. But I grabbed How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. I've heard a lot of things about this, a lot of interesting things. I don't know if I'm gonna like this, to be totally honest. I'm kind of moving away from some dark romance. It has to be written like particularly well for me to really vibe with it, but I'm going to try this. We'll see if I like it. And then I got Melancholy by Veronica Chapa. This just came out this year. I think the cover, that like block coloring is so beautiful to me. It's an imaginative retelling of the triumphs and sorrows of one of the most controversial and misunderstood women in Mexico's history and mythology. Perfect for fans of Sylvia Moreno Garcia's Gods of Jade and Shadow and Zoraida Cordova's The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina. Both of those are on my TBR. Have not read them yet, but I think this is a cool book to have. From Whiteout Books, which is one of my favorite bookstores in the area. They have such an excellent selection, and they have cool like trinkets and stationery as well. I got 2 books. We should not have started there, but that is where we started. I had to really limit myself there, and it was 2 books that were off of my list though, so I do feel good about that. I got The Grave Empire by Richard Swan. A lot of people seem to like this. I think it's kind of like a grim, dark fantasy. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I am in kind of my like old white man fantasy era, so I think that I'll really like this. And speaking of that era, I got The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This was going to be my aardvark pick, but I was a little bit worried that they weren't going to have the artwork on it. And it's just like so pretty. And then the cover is foil too. And this is just like the standard edition. So I really wanted it, probably not from the book box, but it's also deckled edges, and I am a deckled edges stan. I'm a deckled edges defender. I'm very excited to get to this at some point, hopefully soon. There are 2 bookstores in St. John's, which is like this, it's such a cute neighborhood in Portland. It is like my ideal dream neighborhood. I think it's so cute. And there are 2 bookstores there, one of which is more of like a used bookstore vibe with like cassettes and CDs and that kind of thing. And then the other one is a book and yarn store, and they have like fiber arts classes. I've taken a couple knitting classes there. They're both immaculate. The vibes are great. So from Revolutions, which is the music / bookstore, I got Son of the Storm by Sweetie Davies Okungboa. This has been on my list for a while. I got a used copy, which is always just really exciting. I love to buy a used copy from a bookstore. I haven't been showing you any of the bookmarks, but I got a bookmark from pretty much everywhere. I probably still will, but I will not need to tent my books to hold my place anymore. And I'm excited about this. I think this is just like a traditional epic fantasy pretty much. So it should be good. I just love the cover. The colors are great. And from Two Rivers Bookstore, which is the other bookstore in St. John's, I got A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. This is kind of like a rot horror or a botanical horror, which has been my vibe as of recently. The cover is super good. And Andrew Joseph White blurbed it, which that's just a good sign. And he said, an intoxicating hybrid of blood botany and old-timey charm. Absolutely for me. And then there is a new-ish bookstore in Portland, kind of like in East Portland, called Second Shapes Bookstore. And this is both like kind of like a community space, and they have local artists that they're selling there, as well as used books, which I just think that's just such a cool combination of things. And we got 3 books. I got 3 books, and they were each just like a couple bucks, so I didn't feel bad about getting 3 books because that's like less than the price of 1 book, so I would be losing money by not getting them if you really think about it. And I ended up getting Theme Music by T. Marie Vandelli. This has been on my TBR for probably since I like started getting on the book side of TikTok, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago at this point. I don't even totally know what it's about, but I know that Baker Reads really likes it, or has talked about it, or has recommended it. She didn't run from her dark past, she moved in. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a creepy kid, and I'm down for that. And then one that has been recommended to me a lot, or just like I see a lot of my friends liking, is Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austen. I know that most of Emily Austen's books are sapphic. I do think that this is literary fiction, which is not typically my bag, but maybe I will like this. A fast-paced, hilarious, and ultimately hopeful novel for anyone who has ever worried they might be a terrible person, from the best-selling author of Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead. This is actually probably for me, yeah. I've been meaning to get to more Shirley Jackson. I really liked The Haunting of Hill House. So this is We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This is a really short classic, which bodes well for me. And I cannot remember. I think they're called French flaps. I love a French flap. This, I think, a French flap and deckled edges, that's the perfect paperback design. It's not shiny, it's matte. This is the perfect paperback design. I don't know what the book's about even, but I'll just let you look at that real quick. But she is beautiful. And again, I need to read this one and The Lottery, but this is the one I have. And this is the one I shall read first, probably. We also went to Vintage Books, which was great because there were kitties there. You can't touch the kitties, but it was nice to look at them from afar. And I got 2 books. I've gotten the first 3 in the series already from a library sale. So I grabbed the other 2 because they weren't too much. They were less than half price of the $21 that the new price is. And they look like they're in really good condition. And this is a series by Jen Lyons. It's called A Chorus of Dragons. I didn't even know it was about dragons. That's how much I don't know about this series. But I think it's pretty like critically acclaimed from what I can tell. And I know one of my mutuals like this. The first one at least. So I think these covers are so eye-catching to me. I am really excited about this series. So hopefully I like it. There's 2 books that I misplaced. I might still be like freezing them because I try and freeze the used books that I get just in case. It would be such a shame for my entire library to have to go because of one book that I did not freeze. But the Rose City Public Library bookstore, it's like the Multnomah Library bookstore. It's like a physical building though, and they were having a $2 sale, so obviously I had to check that out. I got this brand new looking copy of 10 Minutes 38 Seconds in the Strange World by Elif Shafak, and I know that Books and Law will really like this one. So I thought for like $2, why not? It's just in perfect condition still. And then I got this short story collection by Cassandra Kah. I did not love The Salt Grows Heavy, and I just finished her new one that hasn't quite come out yet, The Library at Hellebore, and I like that one a lot better. I have Nothing But Blackened Teeth, but have not checked that out yet. So I'm also hoping that I like her short story collection. She's also coming to Portland to do like a book signing for her new book. And I figured at the very least I'd get this signed and I could put it in a little free library or something that was like $2. And then another book that I got at the $2 sale was Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh. I think that out of all of the Ottessa Moshfegh books that exist, that will be the one that is most likely for me. So that's the one that I would like to try first. I also got it wasn't $2 though, I think it was like $4. So really not breaking the bank here. I got Shift, I think it is. It's the next book in the Silo series by Hugh Howey. I haven't read Wool, but we are watching the TV show and I'm really liking the TV show, so I think it'll probably be for me. This is really silly, but it's reminding me of A City of Ember. That's like the only thing that I have to compare it to, and that and A Wrinkle in Time were such like crucial books to my upbringing. Like, they're the books that I absolutely remember the most from. Long and Unnecessary Tangent short, I'm liking the TV show, and I'm hopeful for the book because I'm liking the TV show. Because books are typically better. That is my Portland Book Week book haul. I had such a great time. I was really happy to have a friend go with me because last year I went by myself, which was totally fine, but we did egg each other on, I think, a little bit in terms of buying books. Like, you definitely need that. But it was also really fun just to have a buddy. I had the best pumpkin bread from a cafe, I'll put it up here because I'll figure it out, that I've ever had. It was so good, and it was just a really good day. And we also went to the Rose City Book and Paper Fair, but I didn't like get anything from that. It's mostly like rare and collectible books, so they were really expensive. There was such a beautiful edition. It's like, I think, the Subterranean Press edition of the Broken Earth trilogy. I would love to own it, but it was also like $3,000. And I just don't have $3,000 on a 3 books kind of money right now. But that is my book haul. Thank you so much for being here. Leave me any kind of botanical emoji for Botanical Daughter. And I will see you in my next one, which will actually probably be my June wrap up next time. Okay, bye.